It is 7:01. Let's look at the Schumann and see what the energy is, and let me know in the comments how you're doing and how you're feeling. Now, in the comments, some of you said the anomalies we've been seeing on the Kumayana, you saw someone else talking about how they could be in NATO sending submarines signals. I looked it up because I don't have any idea if that's really what could be happening. And from what I found, it technically is very unlikely that that could happen. And that's just because the detection method is different and the signal nature is different. So as we know, the Schumann is a global resonance. It's a natural resonance, whereas the submarine or NATO sending signals to submarines would be artificial. And the detection of the Schumann is using electromagnetic sensors and monitoring the electromagnetic field, whereas NATO sending submarine signals would be different using a high frequency radio wave. I don't believe that's what's happening, but that is up to you to decide for yourself. For me personally, when we see anomalies on the graph, such as these from yesterday, it is important, if you can't find a scientific reason, it is important to use your intuition and be guided by that. So whatever resonates with you. Now, moving into today, those anomalies are gone from the Kumayana graph. And the energy is very fluctuating up and down. We do have some peaks, some valleys here. So we are going to feel the very gentle nudging of these peaks and then it becoming pretty much nothing. Now, I did see this yesterday and the day before, which I didn't even notice. This is about as much as I can zoom in, but look at how light this became. And it is graphing horizontally, which is how the graph graphs. So this is quite a bit of energy. But because I can't go back and look at it closer, I'm not really sure what it is, but it did last a significant amount of time. And here is today on the Russian graph. We did have this band of activity yesterday in the early evening hours, late afternoon, early evening, and then overnight here we are in all of this. So it did subside down. Right now we are at 0%. So for those of you who prefer this white activity, take care of yourself today. Find balance with gentle movement and rest. Now today may feel a little bit more grounded than previous days, with a sense of knowing what it is that you need to do next. Clarity arrives when there may have been a fog before. Everybody wants closure. They want it tied up in a nice little bow and, put it away, store it away on the shelf and move on. Yet that very rarely happens in life. Be sure you are aware and you know when it's time to move on and walk away. You don't have to stay and fight for something that may already be dead. And you don't always have to stay and defend yourself to people who aren't listening and don't want to change the way they see you. Life may seem like you're constantly walking a tightrope or a high wire, and that is why balance is so important. It becomes easier the more you practice, just like everything else. Spirit says, you've come far, but don't forget where you started. You're no better than anyone, even those who aren't yet awake. Don't get lost in the fog. This life is driven by compassion, learning, and evolving. Don't let your ego tell you otherwise. Empathy leads you home. And that is the biggest spiritual trap that can happen in this journey of awakening and evolving. A lot of people get stuck in, oh, well, I've awakened, I'm doing my work. I see all these things that these sheep don't see. I'm better because I'm awake. No, then you've lost the purpose of a spiritual journey and you have to come home to yourself. And I feel like everyone experiences this sometime or another. So if you find yourself in this spiritual trap, just look for alignment, because somewhere along the way, the ego has told you something that is a lie. I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful day.